The school bells might be ringing there, but you still have 1 week of summer left to spare. Make the most of the time you have left at home. Now is also the time to take up your book and start to read over. The more you read, the more you'll know. Start preparing your mind for the new school year, so when it gets here, you will already have something to share. Hello there. We're happy you could join us for another educational edition of Jamaica Magazine, and I'm your host, Theodore Henry. We have lots in store just for you, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
With heat stroke being the most severe form of heat illness that primarily happens at the workplace, it is important to know the signs. This is where your body temperature goes up to 40 degrees centigrade and causes some form of neurological dysfunction, such as excessive sweating, loss of consciousness, seizures, and fainting spells.
Prior to the heat stroke, though, there may be some warning signs, like you may be nauseous, vomiting, diarrhea, having muscle cramps, becoming confused. You may have an increased heartbeat, and you may be very thirsty, and you may have mood changes or irritability.
Good day, I'm Lisa Rowe, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, August 21, 2024. Directives have been given for a special audit of the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS's July to August billing cycles following Hurricane Beryl. This comes on the heels of several complaints by customers of receiving exorbitant bills. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz says the audit is in response to charges on estimated bills despite extended power outages during the billing period. He was speaking at a press briefing earlier today.
This comes across to the JPS customers and Jamaicans across the island as uncaring and tone deaf. The government is resolute that the current situation cannot stand. I have made the position clear to the leadership of the JPS Co and will be making recommendations to the Cabinet for changes to be made in respect to the regulator. Based on the circumstances, the government has been left with no choice but to pursue a special audit and investigation into JPS bills published in the aftermath of the hurricane.
Minister Vaz has also dismissed claims that increased power bills are due to the cost of automotive diesel oil, ADO fuel.
No information has been provided to suggest that JPS had to operate using ADO for fuel for a prolonged period of time, given that the supply was disrupted for 5 days, and that based on communications from JPS, only one plant would have been utilizing ADO for the period of disruption.
The Energy Minister says JPS has given a commitment to submit a report addressing the billing discrepancies affecting customers on Friday, August 23. In response to the situation, the energy company will zero-rate estimated bills for customers who were without power for the period. It will also suspend all disconnections until September 15 and has instituted flexible payment for customers. JPS has also indicated that it is on track for full restoration of power to all outstanding areas by August 31. In the meantime, the Ministry of Energy has established dedicated email addresses to handle complaints on JPS bills and also on the Office of Utilities Regulations OUR for its handling of the matter. These are jpscomplaints@mset.gov.jm and OURcomplaints@mset.gov.jm. Jamaica's health sector is prepared to manage any possible reintroduction of monkeypox or Mpox to the island. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, gave that assurance on Monday following a meeting with a technical team from his ministry and 4 regional health authorities.
I am satisfied that as a ministry, as a health authority, and by extension as a government, we are prepared and continue to prepare for cases that we anticipate will show itself in Jamaica. I am comfortable that the team is fully alert and that we are taking the necessary steps.
Dr. Tufton says the sector has heightened its preparedness in light of the WHO's declaration of Mpox being a public health emergency of international concern.
We're an open country, open borders. A lot of travel takes place, and so we have to manage the process. In the next coming days, we will provide the country with better details on what the precautions and the protocols are.
According to Minister Tufton, the health team has re-examined surveillance and case investigation procedures for Mpox. This will allow for rapid identification of cases, clusters, and sources of infection. It will also enable the team to manage contacts, tailor effective control methods, and provide optimal clinical care. The Ministry of Health and Wellness will be scheduling public education and community engagement programs, and is to give an update to Cabinet shortly. To avoid transmission of Mpox, the ministry is encouraging persons to practice safe sex, physical distancing, mask wearing, and frequent hand washing or sanitization. For further information on Mpox, contact your parish health departments or call 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. $100 million has been allocated for the restoration of fishing beaches across Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, St. Catherine, and St. Mary, particularly those affected by Hurricane Beryl. This is in addition to the $29 million previously allocated to the National Fisheries Authority for beach repairs in the wake of the hurricane. The investments are part of a broader effort to restore and enhance fishing beaches. Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, announced the initiative at a recent handover ceremony at Parity Beach in St. Elizabeth.
We've decided to focus our contribution on providing you with the inputs in the form of wire. We're going to give you a voucher so you can go out, buy your wire, get your fish pots back up and running so you can start the process of heading back out.
Fisherfolk at the Parity Fishing Beach also received vouchers from the National Fisheries Authority. One of the beneficiaries, Deborah Williams Hall, expressed gratitude for the support.
And I want to say a big thank you to the minister and the fishery for giving me back at least 2 rolls of wire. Here's my voucher where I can start back, so at least I have something to look forward to.
In addition to the funds and vouchers, Minister Green revealed the plans to enhance the skills and capabilities of local fishers by expanding longline fishing training to the southern coast in the coming year. The completion timeline for the Morant Bay Urban Centre in St. Thomas has been pushed back to December 2024. The $6 billion facility was expected to be opened in September of this year. The update was made by Factories Corporation of Jamaica FCJ Chairman Littleton Shirley. He gave the reason at the Boundbrook Urban Centre groundbreaking ceremony in Portland last week.
We experienced an issue with the impending relocation of the JPS substation, which is located on the site. This caused a delay in construction activities.
Mr. Shirley noted that the journey of building the Morant Bay Urban Centre has been a lot of work.
It has been very fulfilling to see where we started and where we are now. A project nearing completion. A project that will be the blueprint for all parishes across Jamaica to adopt, not only in Jamaica, but in the Caribbean.
The 28-acre development will feature more than 50 public and private sector entities in one space. And finally, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, recently begun the process of removing bulky waste and derelict vehicles in St. James, starting with the Catherine Hall area. The initiative is part of the government's $1.3 billion national cleanup program, which was announced in July to get rid of bulky waste, in addition to destroying mosquito breeding sites.
Persons are storing bulky waste that is trapping water that also cause the further breeding up of mosquitoes, and we are already in a dengue outbreak. So we have to do the right thing, which is to take action so that our citizens will be protected and we will have a safer and cleaner environment here in Montego Bay.
Executive Director of the NSWMA, Audley Gordon, is imploring persons to pay more attention to how and where they dispose of their waste.
We can do better. And this has nothing to do with Catherine Hall, the local now. This is right across Jamaica. I could tell you, I've seen it in Upper St. Andrew in Stony Hill. I've seen it all over in Santa Cruz, everywhere. The no dumping sign will be there, and people dump right at the foot of the no dumping sign. I am humbly inviting this partnership. I'm begging for this partnership. Let us play our part to make Jamaica's beauty a collective duty.
So far, over 2,000 loads of bulky waste have been removed from different communities across the island. The program commenced on August 8 and will expand to cover other parishes. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lisa Rowe. Thanks for watching.
Attitude is something which productivity will require, and a good attitude. So these are conversations which are difficult, because how do you instill a good attitude? It starts by the kinds of activities that you engage your children in at an early age. What are we teaching our children even in our own homes? How do they see us reacting to challenges? How do they hear us addressing issues? That's what's going to shape their attitude and their mindset.
Summer might be coming to a close, but the heat is definitely still on. It has us reaching for lighter clothes, shade, and cooling devices. And with good reason, because did you know that the heat could lead to serious health issues? Well, let's learn about it.
The heat is no joke. From as early as 7 a.m., one can expect the rays from the sun to peek their way through their window, sweating, twisting and turning in your bed, wearing the least amount of clothes to help cool you down, but nothing works. Wondering if the place could get any hotter, you start to question some of your life decisions. Walking on the street amplifies this. As the sun rays hit your strong melanin, you reach for your umbrella, hat, shades, water, or even find a cool place to shelter. Am I about to have a heat stroke, or is something else happening to me? But wait, how do I know if it's heat stroke that I'm experiencing?
So heat stroke is the most severe form of heat illness. And it is really defined as a condition where your body temperature goes up to 40 degrees centigrade and where there is some form of neurologic dysfunction. And what I mean by that is loss of consciousness or seizures, fainting spells, etc.
Doc, how does someone identify heat stroke?
So for heat stroke, you may be sweating excessively, or your skin might be very dry and hot. You would be fainting, you would have lost consciousness, or you may be having a seizure at the time. Prior to the heat stroke though, there may be some warning signs, like you may be nauseous, vomiting, diarrhea, having muscle cramps, becoming confused. You may have an increased heartbeat, and you may be very thirsty, and you may have mood changes or irritability.
Okay, Doc. So what is the first thing a bystander should do if they suspect someone might have heat stroke?
One of the first things is to call for help, because heat stroke is a medical emergency and you will definitely need to take the person into an accident and emergency department. However, it is important to move the person as soon as possible to a cool place to try and cool them down with a water or ice bath to ensure that their clothing is loose. So you would move the tight clothing from them. You would try to circulate air around them, for example, using a fan.
I get what you're saying, but how can it be prevented?
So heat stroke can be prevented by ensuring that you decrease the amount of sun exposure, especially when you are doing physical activity. Now, in a person who is working in the sun, clearly they have to do that work, but they can help by taking rest breaks in a cooler area, drinking a lot of liquids every 15 minutes or so.
Now that we know how to prevent heat stroke, how can it be treated, Doc?
Heat stroke is treated at a hospital. It is, as I said, a severe form of heat illness, and therefore the person will require IV fluids, oxygen, cool baths, or even ice baths, regulation of their temperature and their vital signs.
Is there a difference between heat stroke and heat exhaustion?
Heat exhaustion, there is no loss of consciousness and the symptoms are not as severe. So the person would be, their temperature would still be within the normal temperature. They would be sweating profusely to try and keep their temperature down. They would be aware that something is going wrong with them. So they may have headaches, and they are able to drink fluid. So you can actually give them fluid at that point in order to prevent it from getting onto heat stroke.
How long does it take to recover from heat stroke?
There are several risk factors that make heat stroke more likely to happen or more likely to impair the individual. As I had said, heat stroke can be fatal. So if you're elderly, if you're taking certain types of medications, it may not be as easy for you to recover from it, whereas if you're a young, active person, the risk factors are less, and your recovery is likely to be smoother, or recovery is likely to be possible any at all.
Yes, we're going to keep reminding you, the reopening of school is right around the corner. But as we ponder the impending excitement, we want to talk about those who facilitate our children's learning in the new academic year. The Ministry of Education is making sure they are taken care of, giving them the tools for financial empowerment.
Bills paid, but still broke? Sounds like the makings of a major financial problem. But there's still time to get ahead of it and get your finances in order. Working out a personalized financial plan can put you on the path to stability. By developing and maintaining responsible financial practices, you could be well on your way to building a solid foundation for wealth creation. Wealth creation is a learned skill, and what better place to facilitate financial knowledge than the classroom? This is true not just for our students, but also for our teachers.
The face value is about the number itself.
We're committed to the continued improvement of the education sector and look forward to the completion of the very massive task the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service has taken on regarding compensation review.
While that is in motion, the Ministry of Education and Youth has moved forward to supporting our education builders by giving them the tools to build wealth. The ministry has teamed up with stakeholders such as Profit Jumpstarter, a boutique organization that offers investing education. The partnership is offering the teachers online courses in money management to enable them to achieve their own goals while generating financial stability.
Teaching persons around investing.
CEO of Profit Jumpstarter and investment educator Keisha Bailey says planning to invest should be a part of plans for creating wealth.
I believe that investing is a long-term strategy and that it is possible to work to create the millionaire lifestyle or the billionaire lifestyle for anyone. You just need to understand some simple concepts around investing to make the moves for yourself in your own financial life.
Putting even $100 or $1,000 each month to your investing portfolio will put you in a better place financially.
In terms of thinking that I'm not making enough, We have to expand our mindset into abundance, because you have enough for right now, and we're going to take what you have right now, that money you have now, and turn it into the money you want.
And so, one of the first steps in wealth creation is to know your money so you can grow your money.
So budgeting is extremely important. Put pen to paper, write down all the money coming in, write down all the money coming out. For every dollar that comes into your pocket or your bank account, 50% should be spent on your needs, 30% should be spent on wants, which are, the niceness of life, and then 20% should be put towards saving and investing.
Next, create an emergency fund.
So I teach persons to have around 3 to 6 months of their expenses tucked away in an emergency fund account, so that you have that money available to you when you need it. When you understand exactly the type of investment you should have for you and how to regularly contribute to your investment account, you're going to see that you build wealth really, really fast, because investments are how you build wealth. Again, it's the regular and consistent contributions that are going to push you to build wealth faster. Start investing. I cannot stress that enough, the importance and how critical it is to be an investor.
Educators, the time is now. Whatever age or stage, investing is critical to your financial welfare.
The future of every nation depends on every child. Let us recommit ourselves to the cause of children's rights. Let us pledge to be vigilant guardians of their innocence, their right to education, to safety, and to a future filled with promise. Let us encourage them to stand up, speak out, and ensure that every child's voice is heard, every child's right is protected, and every child's future is bright.
Are you experiencing financial difficulties buying those back-to-school necessities? Don't let this be you next school year. Find out how the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is able to help ease the load through its program of advancement through health and education, PATH. Could your child become a beneficiary? Well, let's find out.
The Program of Advancement through Health and Education, PATH, is Jamaica's premier social protection program. Introduced in 2002, PATH is geared towards providing financial support to the most vulnerable in society through the delivery of cash benefits. Administered by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, PATH has impacted some 350,000 beneficiaries, with the majority of them being children. With the principle that an educated person in a healthy body is better equipped to beat the cycle of poverty, PATH also provides benefits for students to focus on their education.
The main objective of the Program of Advancement through Health and Education is to break the intergenerational cycle of poverty. It means that we understand that the main way out of poverty is to be healthy, firstly, and secondly is to be educated. Many persons around today were not born in wealth, but through education, they're able to improve their socioeconomic standing, they're able to have their own business, to be employed, and so forth.
With the opportunities that PATH has created, many persons have been able to achieve the stated mission.
Now, PATH provides cash benefits to families, and the benefit that families receive is based on the number of persons in the family who fall within specific categories that we provide assistance for. So, for example, we look at how many children that are in school going within that household. Do we have any elderly persons? Do we have any persons with disabilities? What about pregnant and lactating women? And those are the main categories.
Beneficiaries on PATH are also eligible for a wide range of other benefits.
Students, for example, are eligible to receive school feeding through the Ministry of Education, both at the primary and secondary level. And in high school, the students, of course, they get all their tuition covered, auxiliary fees covered by the Ministry of Education. And when they get to fifth form, the Ministry of Education covers all the subjects for PATH beneficiaries.
In addition, tertiary level students on PATH can qualify for $100,000 towards their tuition each year, as long as they maintain a minimum grade point average GPA of 2.5.
To qualify for PATH, we encourage members of the family, mainly the family head or the female in the family, to visit one of our parish offices and take along with them their ID, and if there are children in the household or elderly persons in the household, their birth certificates. And if you have someone with a disability and they're registered with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, their JCPD registration.
As the Ministry of Labour and Social Security continues to fulfill one of its mandates by supporting those in need, the success stories of beneficiaries are testament to their commitment. Pathways, helping you secure a brighter future.
This is where we close the pages for today, but be sure to join us tomorrow on this same station at the same time for another program that is geared to keep you in the know. Until then, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for this and other happenings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, reminding you that you are stronger than any storm you are facing.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.